but I have two people on the webinar that I'm just going to kind of lean in. They're two of my favorites. And they really, really provide valuable information. We've got Sean Senejan, who is our creative director, who's helping us run things. I'm Sarah Cooperman. I'm the CEO of SCW Fitness. We've got Ann Gilbert, who is the CEO and owner of Two Shapes Fitness, and she'll describe which cities. I know one's Brandon, Florida. And we've got Paul Christopher, who is an owner of Gravity and Oxygen Performance, a facility, and they both have been open. So they've gone through the pain and suffering that you guys have gone through. You guys, you are muted, just so you know, so don't freak out if you can't talk. And we also are asking you to please turn your videos off if you wouldn't mind. And that's so that we can see our presenters. We're spotlighting our presenters, which means we're in speaker mode. So that's the best way to see and hear them. But we want to know your questions. So if there's something like, how do you run this front desk, or how do you communicate with your team, or what do you do the day before you open? Ask the questions. We're here for 45 minutes, and they're yours. So I'm going to have Paul introduce himself. So Paul, please introduce yourself. Tell us about the club, and tell us when you opened.
So my name is Paul Christopher. I am founder and owner of Gravity and Oxygen Fitness in Boca Raton, Florida, about 45 minutes north of Miami. We've been open for about 5.5 years. We offer personal training and group interval classes. We were closed for approximately 2 months, and we were allowed to open the end of May. And we were told on a Friday by the governor that gyms could reopen. And we decided to wait until Tuesday to open because we would rather do it right than in a rush. So once we got notification, we decided to do 2 days of full disinfecting and cleaning. We used steamers that go to a temperature of 341 degrees, which pretty much will disinfect and wipe away all bacteria, good and bad. We made the appropriate social distancing aspects of program design. And what we did was, which was very special and unique, 1 week before we anticipated reopening, we doubled the size of our gym by adding 2,000 square feet of exterior outdoor artificial turf. It was given a green light by our landlord pre-pandemic in January due to our lease extension. And we waited for the right moment knowing that we were going to be opening up. And it took us 6 days to install. Knowing that people would feel more comfortable, especially in Florida at that time, working out outdoors without recycling indoor air while we're hyperventilating and working out in groups. So it was received with massive review and love. And we've been slowly gaining all the membership back over the past 2 weeks. So we're really proud of what we did. And it was a great value add that we kept on the down low until the right moment for our gym. So we are luckily back in full motion.
So that was really interesting. You talked about going outside the gym. Now, for the people who are watching this webinar, one of the things I've already gotten like 4 questions that I've scribbled down here. How do we handle class size limit? How do you retrain your staff for the opening? You know, what are the procedures on that? And then also, how do we manage our cycle classes? But, you know, in hearing you speak, I'm a lawyer. I'm not a licensed attorney right now because I haven't practiced for over 30 years. But as a lawyer, you want to make sure to check your insurance policy. You want to make sure to check your waiver of liability. You can have your insurance company just add on the outside area without any added expense, but you need to check that. So that's very key. And you guys are all going to need to rewrite your waivers of liability in your informed consent forms. Paul did that and mentioned that in the last webinar and did a really nice job of that, which is really great. Now, Ann, I'm gonna drift to you for the class size limit. Please first introduce yourself and talk about the clubs.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ann Gilbert. I'm the owner and operator of 2 women's only fitness facilities, a little different niche than Paul's. We are located in Brandon, Florida and Riverview, Florida. And we've been closed the exact same time frame in Florida as Paul. Class size, Sarah, is a huge question. We actually dove in headfirst. We didn't wait till a couple days before, but we really put a team together from the day that we closed to try to make sure that we protected our member base and made them feel safe and comfortable, especially in group fitness. We're women's only, and that's the main thing that we promote. So we actually played, if you will, role played and we took a fictitious member from the front door of the club, and we really mapped out throughout the club, and I really recommend that you guys do this if you're getting ready to open. But take your staff and pretend that she's your fictitious member. She's coming back through the doors, and look at every single thing that she could touch, every single thing and every place that she could step, and refigure her navigational route, if you will. We called it mapping between the front door and the group fitness because that's where the majority of the people went. Once that navigation is set and she enters the room, she has to have a place. And we found, and I hope you share it, Sarah, but we found a great manufacturer that actually put our logo on a very sturdy sticker. And I was worried that after 2 or 3 classes, we've been open almost 2 weeks now, that the stickers would disintegrate, and they haven't. So each person that comes in not only feels comfortable with the space that we've created with social distancing, but she has her own place for her own equipment if she opts to bring it, or the amount of equipment that we have for the class. I don't know if that's the answer to your question, but we are group fitness. That's what we sell. And we had to navigate, okay, map it out, every single step that that member took between the front door and the group fitness room, because if she weren't comfortable, she's not coming back. She's not coming back.
And this is what's interesting is that Kathy just stated we have a 55 plus community, and there are lots of people who have absolutely no interest in coming back. And they don't want to come back in the building anytime soon, but there's others who do want to have live classes. How do you decide the class to split in person and in virtual? So talk to us about how you've been handling that.
For me? Question
Yes,
for me.
please.
Okay, good. With our 55 and up also, our demographic is 45 to 80. I get it. And because of the fear factor of coming back into the community, on day 2, after being closed, within 48 hours, we put up a virtual schedule, and we really tracked it out, if you will, with opportunities for members to take strength classes with us, with our studio in the background, so they felt engaged and very comfortable with their coaches. We also had a whole track of active aging classes. We took our aquatic classes and put them on a chair. So it didn't matter if they had taken aquatic classes with us or if they had taken our active aging classes. From day 1, we presented the schedule. The problem was they didn't know how to navigate social media. So we actually started inviting them, and sometimes they got a handwritten letter from us. Sometimes they got a personal phone call, which they really appreciated more than the handwritten letter, I think. But we actually walked our seniors and our active agers through how to navigate Zoom and how to navigate Facebook, our private Facebook page, so they could get engaged in our programming. It took a couple days. I thought they had it because I figure if I've got it, they've got it, but they didn't. So the biggest challenge we had was not putting the program together, but was helping them navigate.
And you did it through phone calls, emails, text messaging. You hand wrote notes is what I heard. You also hand wrote notes and mailed it to your people in preparation.
You know, what a change in a job description, right? To go from being a sales manager, selling memberships and programs to our club and personal training. These are the people that we engaged on what we call the task force. Day 1, I said, now listen, guys, you got to be open because your job description is changing. And by the way, here's 350 notes for you to hand write to our active agers so that they feel connected. Phone calls work just as well, but we did it in shifts. Now we've also sent out a second batch of letters. Getting those active agers back is concerning. We put together lunch and learns too. That really helped.
And Paul, we were talking about what was the biggest mistake you made with reopening that you would do differently, that you want to share with these people, like, don't do what I did.
Okay, so I think we just didn't maximize the moment. So we literally are on the same street corner as a CrossFit, a very successful one that competes, and then a corporate Orange Theory. If you know, Boca Raton, Florida is the global headquarters for OTF, for the mothership, we'll say. So we found out on a whim that they weren't opening up until 7 days after we were. So if I had to do it again, understanding that everybody wants to support your local small business, whether it be your restaurant supporting their takeout or fitness center, we should have maximized the opportunity when it comes to social media, saying, if you're nervous about working out indoors again, come give us a shot, because we have just doubled our size and given you this outdoor playground to enjoy your exercise in. So we just didn't maximize that moment. And perhaps, as Ann and I discussed before we broadcast, that we went understaffed to conserve wages of what we lost pre-opening. So we should have done the opposite. We should have flooded our place with staff and customer service, and then used some of that extra manpower to then do the promotion with social media. So I think we didn't capture that moment.
I really like that. I mean, that's part of the reason that I asked you and Ann to come on, because you got to talk, you know, to me, it's not about failures. It's about learning. I want to hear more and more and more of all the things we did wrong. So next time, God forbid this ever happens again, we will know what to do, but we can share with you guys at home. So you really wish you had more staff on site right there. Both you and Ann thought that. And then you also wanted to prepare more with social media. Ann was really, really on it. And Ann, we got a very important question for you. Somebody asked, when you're setting your virtual time schedule, you know, the group fitness schedule, because I'm sorry, but this year, it's the year of Group X, man. We have never been appreciated like we've been appreciated now. And you know, amen. I'm very excited about that. But did you keep your virtual schedule the same as your live schedule? How did you navigate that?
No, we didn't. We did not. We put up a totally different schedule, because in our mind, 2 months after we open, 6 months after we open, we want two separate options. This is what makes us unique. And if you're thinking about your future, not just the day you open, but 6 months from now, and what next year is going to bring, I wanted to bring, like Paul did with his outside turf area, something unique that no one else had. So we separated them both. Did we offer the same active agers around 11:30? Yes, because that's when they were used to working out. But we put it in a variety of classes, and we engaged our staff to come on board and do all the different things that they ever thought of. Now we have two unique programs. We stopped selling memberships about 2 or 3 years ago, even though we've come from the corporate fitness world. We sell programs, and because we opened with not only a virtual schedule, which, by the way, everybody changed every single week, so you know how hard the task force or the staff worked. Now we have 3 different options. We have in-house group fitness that is relaunched, very successful, reservation only, on your spot, very well navigated from the front door. We have our virtual schedule that still is up on YouTube. And now we have our TV station, in which people can subscribe to by downgrading a different program because they don't feel comfortable coming back, or Sarah, because they're traveling for the summer. They're traveling for the summer. They're taking 2 months off. Now, instead of like a snowbird would have in the past, canceled or frozen, which kills your revenue, instead they're taking shapes with them on vacation. So we've actually come out of this with 3 new programs.
I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to take the screen for just a second. And these wonderful people, Paul and Ann, shared with me wonderful information that they use. These are some beautiful different masks that people used. So we wanted to show you that. Also, you've got to remember, if you're going to have your people wear masks, you also want to have them wear name tags. This is very, very important to wear the name tags because they won't be able to recognize everyone when they come into the facility. And then what you want them to do is you want to be able to clean and you want to be able to social distance. We got a great question about how do you run your cycle classes? Well, a lot of people, this is what somebody did with their treadmills, putting signs on every other treadmill that it was closed, moving some of the rowers, moving possibly even some of the bikes or treadmills into larger spaces to make sure you're getting that social distancing, or putting the plastic in between. And here, cutting off every other machine so that they were only working out every other machine. And I love this chalkboard right here because you can change your sessions and you can change your classes. Here's what somebody did in their gym for cones. They put the cones on the treadmills they weren't supposed to use. Very clever way, because our goal is, our hope is that we open. Now this is another photo, Anne. How in the world did you set this up, Anne? Because this is please describe it for us if you would.
Sarah and Paul, that's actually the tent that we usually take to on-sites or fairs or community events, and we posted it out. We put it outside right away as soon as we started our opening events, because it showed us we were open, and we held our classes outside. We actually took the parking spaces from the front of our location after communication with our landlord and also our neighboring vendors to make sure it didn't interfere with their practices or their business. And we held our classes outside, reservation only, and it actually trained our members to know that going forward, we're reservation only. Reservation only. So it really worked out well.
Great. These are PVC pipes, and where did you get those, Anne?
Do you want me to know that? Want to know that my husband made those?
Of course.
Very inexpensive. And guess what? They work as portable bar poles for your outdoor bar classes, guys. So they were easy to build, very inexpensive. It's from Lowe's, right? Buy the pieces, put the connects. So they worked as dividers, but they also worked when we put our bar classes outside. It's our portable bar class outside.
And this is, speaking of bar, these are weighted bar classes, but you can see in the bottom right, this is a photo right here of Anne. This is her studio. And with the bar classes, you can see also the social distancing. You will notice you're not going to see cardio classes. And the reason you're not going to see cardio classes inside, it's too hard for people to breathe. But strength classes without equipment or with equipment that you have cleaning protocols for, or especially yoga and Pilates works extremely well. And then look at these are, okay, Anne, describe this as well.
So those are the stickers. Those are the stickers that the people were actually laying on during the pump class in the previous slide. And we ordered those. And again, we were kind of nervous at first whether they would last, but they're doing really, really well. Members love it. You know how members love their own space in your group fitness class? They're going right to their space. We limit the amount of equipment, one, because we don't want to have to spend a lot of time cleaning. And when they're done with their class, they literally lay their equipment on their spot, and then we bring the cleaning crew in. So they know exactly how to navigate. They stay within their spot. There's no big heavy dance class right now. So it's really worked out well. Really worked out well.
And if
very
you
inexpensive.
If you want to write this down, Anne was kind enough to share Sticker Giant, one word, and it's 866-774-7900. That's the one, but you can find these in your local community.
That's our logo. Yeah, that's our logo.
And
made them feel at home. That's the new floor.
Yeah, it's a beautiful floor. And here's signs that Anne did that stop the spread of germs. And this is a great sign that says, all that, avoid touching, wash your hands, keep your distance. She did an open sign, which is wonderful. This is another facility that opened up. They laid out the mats and the blocks. And we were talking earlier with Paul and Anne, I think it was a different webinar, and we were talking about, people should be bringing their own equipment, but if you are still supplying it, pre-lay it out, make sure it's all clean, have little distancing footsteps when they go in, have cleaning stations throughout, move your equipment into larger spaces, and make sure to put little signs on the pieces of equipment that might be closed. This is what Gold's Gym did on their opening up, slowly let people in. And this QR code basically was the code of conduct. And if you want to figure out how to build your own QR code, you can just put it on your website and just go to QR code, Google free QR code, type in your website address, and boom, you create a QR code and you copy and paste it. It's very easy. And these are people actually entering in one of the gymnasiums, which is very cool. And you can see some of the signage and the way people can do weight training with masks, but and that's very interesting to see. But this is the cleaning protocol that Ann instituted with her staff, to put it on a sheet of plastic, spray it down with the bottle, and move it on. And I really wanted to share what Paul did. I thought this was genius with the turf, and he didn't just do it outside, he also did it inside. Paul, can you please elaborate on this?
Okay, so what you're seeing, the photo of the 2 trees, that is actually already now, that was grass, and then they took away it and basically was laying down the foundation. Here's the great part. Because this was considered a temporary installation, it was a glorified carpet or rug. So I did not have to go through City Hall permitting and then require extra parking spaces and get the whole landlord situation involved. So it just laid down on top of that sidewalk that you see to the left, and then it was laid down over that dirt. So that the bottom left photo is our backyard. So we went 17 feet wide, 70 feet long, east to west, and then we went 70 feet by 16 north-south, as you see with the mouse. So, and then as you now click to the next screen, we actually had the indoor turf already that's been there since we opened day 1. But what you see, what we did outdoors, now you see the finished product from a different angle. You see where the 2 trees are, there's your turf. And then if you notice the white lines to make it look like a football field, that's on the posterior of our gym. So we now have 2,040 square feet, which matches pretty much our 2,000 square foot working indoor floor. So now we're 5,000 square feet indoor outdoor. And with that, we just became the largest boutique gym in downtown Boca Raton without paying 1 extra penny for rent, just by simply asking my landlord. Now, if you notice those squares where my instructor, my rockstar instructor Priscilla, is leading a mobility warm-up, we only had 2 people per square. So if each block was 13 feet by 17, we had 2 humans per square, and we had 16 to 20 people, and we could accommodate 8 to 10 squares. They would stay at said station for 5 minutes with whatever equipment was there. They would wipe down their equipment, whether it was barbells, kettlebells, a row machine, or what have you. And then they would move on to the next station, and they would go on, so on and so forth. So we actually had an opening weekend to try it out. Everybody loved it. And right now we're on a skeleton schedule of 18 classes per week, 3 per day to allocate more time for cleaning the equipment. And we've had a really good reception from since we've opened.
And that's been amazing. Oh, I'm not quite sure why it went backwards. This is the way it looked when Ann opened it. So she actually didn't have classes running right away. But I love, like, they did this red, white, and blue theme. Look how adorable this is. This is fantastic. So thank you guys. Thank you so much for sharing the pictures. And Paul, talk to us about, somebody asked about square footage, and you answered it in the chat box. Can you share that with us, please?
Yeah, so I'm asking with some local colleagues. The rule of thumb was 150 feet, or 1 person per 150 square feet. So our gym was 2,800 square feet indoors. So if you divide that by your 150, that's how many people you can hold to a group capacity indoors. But then if I add the outdoors, I could easily still hold 20 to 30 people. But just for instilling confidence, we kept it. We normally would cap classes at 25. We brought it down to 20. And we would only then begin to expand our class schedule based upon reaching capacity, knowing people might get nervous again. So now our 6 a.m. class is reaching capacity with almost wait lists on our mind-body software, to the point we now have to bifurcate into the 5:30, 6:30, which is our traditional schedule. So as each class reaches capacity, we separate them and we go back to somewhat of a 30 to 35 class schedule per week.
That's fantastic. And
Yeah.
that's incredibly helpful. And somebody asked you, Ann, talk to us about the TV station. What did you use, a particular website? How did you manage this and then keep it exclusive for your membership?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. And the thing that you guys are starting to see is that neither of us thought we were victims of this pandemic, but that we took these opportunities to create new program options, not only for our existing member, but to attract new members as we go forward. And the TV was actually because I was fearful and concerned with people needing and wanting to cancel because of fear of coming back. So we actually put together our own private website in which members subscribe. So they subscribe to the website that is actually shapesfitness.tv. So look it up, guys. You can see a picture of it, shapesfitness.tv. And instead of paying a membership fee because they're fearful of coming back, they actually downgrade and take this as an option to stay connected and stay with as many as 16 different programs in those different categories every month. But now we're seeing a huge amount of people adding it on to their present program. So now our revenues are going up. And I think it's brilliant if you think about it, because not only are they paying a membership, but now they're buying the Shapes TV t-shirt, and now they're buying the subscription. It's a month-to-month subscription. So if they decide to come back, if that's the reason that they've involved themselves in the subscription, then all they do is upgrade back into the program that they were participating in. Yeah. Our team virtually put together and filmed with licensed streaming music, very important part. So the music was legalized, and they also lessened the amount of time, because we're finding that people really only spend 17 to 30 minutes on a virtual workout. And when they're ready for more, guess what? They're coming back to the club when the classes are 45 minutes and up. So it's a private Facebook page. It's only available to the person that subscribes. They can't share it with their buddy across town or across the country. So it keeps it very, very private. It's keeping it engaged, and we've sold a bunch.
So you did it on a private Facebook page. So it didn't cost—
a private website, yeah.
Mm-hmm. A private, yes. And somebody also asked, do both facilities have online reservation systems? And yes, I believe Paul has MindBody and you use ABC. Did you get everything fixed with them? Yes?
Much better. Thank you. But yes, our members, we had a little bit of a challenge because some of our members that were still having a hard time navigating how to find us on their private Facebook page. So we've actually waited about 3 weeks. And with our active agers, we're actually asking them to call the club and make a reservation. And guess what? It's not that hard. And it's allowing us to connect again and ask them if they worked out with us while they were gone. It built that relationship back, and it gives us the opportunity to have those encouraging words to come back. But we have a date we're going totally online, yes.
And how do you control the link not being shared with others? Is the link exclusive to each member individually, or just exclusive to the club? Michelle asked this question.
Michelle, we have someone that's kind of managing that from an admin desk behind the scenes. And once we see through our ABC financial system that they have paid for their session, then they register as a private participant. And that is only allowing them to view the subscription.
Do the access. Now, Paul, please talk to us about MindBody and how you manage your classes and your small group training sessions.
Okay, so MindBody also provides the opportunity to develop an app for you. So since day one, since we were open in 2015, our app is managed by MindBody. So we also, like Ann, did broadcasts. We did about 55 workouts during the 2 months. So we didn't have to reserve, you'd have to reserve to do that. We chose whether or not to do video broadcasting privately for our membership page on Facebook or doing it on our business page. We figured it might be greater exposure to do it over the business page for people being motivated to join us once we open again. So we have MindBody where people can be members and reserve their class to the app. They also have dynamic pricing where there may not be a member of our gym, but they are a MindBody customer. So they can sign up for dynamic pricing. So based upon me having, if we cap a class at 20 and right now there's 6 spots open for the 6 p.m. class later on, they can capture the dynamic pricing where it might be half off the drop-in price. We also are a provider of ClassPass. So we do offer ClassPass, and that way people can reserve through there as well. So we were seeing our ClassPass revenue increasing every month until the pandemic hit, and now we just once again turned it on yesterday to allow ClassPassers to join our classes as well. And that might be the tipping point to increasing our class schedule, because if we're so close to capacity, those few people, whether it be 20 to 30 reservations a week, might cause us to increase our class schedule again. So once again, membership reservation through MindBody, MindBody customers using dynamic pricing, and then ClassPass, which works seamlessly on our back end with MindBody.
That's fantastic, and it's interesting. We've actually been talking to ClassPass about coming on as a sponsor for our business segments that we do at our Livestream Mania, because it's such a benefit to clubs, because you know, you can keep preaching to the choir over and over again. These people are already coming to you on Sunday. We want to go beyond the choir. We want to go out into the community. And these type of different systems allow us that opportunity. And did both of you offer free classes during the pandemic? Or, I mean, now you're open. I understand we're still in the pandemic, and unfortunately, I mean, Anne, we might even talk about what's been going on with the rioting near you. But did you provide the free, and how did you transition to paying? Paul?
Okay, so normally our low barrier offer is one complimentary class experience, and then you can buy our intro offer for 2 weeks, $49 unlimited classes. But knowing some people might be itching to give us a try after exposure virtually with our classes, we give a VIP 1 week complimentary pass, and we sold it online through our website as well. So we have a bot messenger tied into our Facebook business page. So we've had people request the 1 week or click that automatic link to the 1 week. So we've offered an extended free week instead of one complimentary session. So we are monitoring that, and we've had a lot of people come in through that. So we certainly have seen a new influx of population. Eventually, I will turn off that online option of the VIP week and go back to traditional opportunity of one class and then the $49 intro offer. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. And Anne, I think at the beginning of this webinar, I didn't even get to ask you what was the biggest mistake that you made. And I think, but Paul referenced it. He said you didn't have enough staff in that room. They wanted to be handheld and moved. It's kind of, you don't want to say handheld, sorry about that, no touching, elbow held, and moving around. Do you offer ClassPass, and could you share with us some of the benefits you've seen of having silver sneakers?
We have both ClassPass and silver sneakers. Silver sneakers, we offer just a base membership for our club, which means we do have selectorized equipment still in our club. And members that are base silver sneakers, which means they apply through their insurance, are able to use that equipment by themselves. Well, you know, that doesn't last very long, right? So then they get the option of upgrading. So silver sneakers allows us to ask for fees for all of the amenities of our club. Silver sneakers has been very beneficial to us, and when we found out that even when we were closed, we could redeem a silver sneakers workout by encouraging them to use the virtual line, we didn't lose the money that we were used to getting from silver sneakers. We turned off ClassPass during the pandemic, and we're ready to turn it back on. And the benefit to us is because we have a little bit of a reputation of being an older population in one of our clubs. The ClassPass is introducing our programming options to a lot of the millennials. So we're getting a whole influx of a new demographic into our club. Biggest mistake, guys, though, one, we weren't prepared to change our employee manuals from day one. Now think about it. When you start this whole reopening process and you're asking people to change their job description and incorporate things like gloves and masks and new cleaning techniques, I wish I would have been a little bit faster. I think my training of my staff would have been a little bit more productive and effective if I had had an employee manual rewritten. If I ever have to do this again, that's step one. And I agree with Paul. We thought we could cut costs by not having enough employees, but on opening day, our members wanted to be not close to, but they wanted to know that there was enough staff there to help them navigate the Shapes experience now compared to the Shapes experience before, because the experience is different, right? So I would have added more staff. We have added staff since then, and we're going to redo that open house, Paul, again, because we don't have all of our members back yet. So why are we not going to do it again? We'll do it again and again until they come back.
And we got an interesting question. There was one woman, she owns a boutique studio, and she said, oh my goodness, we only have 2 people that work in one facility and 2 that work in the other. I'm understaffed. I'm just going to give you a little bit of a suggestion. You know those members that love you and texted you right away when your gym was closed? You know who they are. They're your people, man. They're your people. You say to them, hey, I need some help. We're opening up. I'll get you a mask. I'll get you gloves. We'll all be wearing matching t-shirts. I'll get you a name tag. Would you be one of our greeters? Trust me. They will come to you with open arms and help you out. Think about doing that, asking for greeters, asking for help. And then we got another interesting question. And Ann, I know you were a big cleaner, and oh my God, Paul with a 300-degree thing, that's brilliant. Ann says, I rent studio space and my landlord does not want to run the HVAC system, the heat and the air conditioning, because he fears the virus could spread that way. Any suggestions on how to deal with this? Well, for one thing, she rents a studio space. You can find another studio space, but I would suggest what they do is clean your filters. And if you are looking at building a space, or you're looking to add air conditioning, or you're looking to somehow fix your heating, think about what they do in Las Vegas with those cigar bars, and they filter all the air up and pull all the impurities out. Think about going with a little more expensive system, because again, you can advertise it. I mean, Paul, how are you dealing with this? How are you dealing with the air conditioning and the heat, and you're outside? What do I do if I'm in Chicago and if it's a little bit cooler? How do I handle this?
So I think it's when it comes to preventing things such as heat exhaustion, heat stroke, it's increasing the rest periods between stations. If we do interval-based training in our gym, I think it's not solely making your entire workout outside. It's making it hybrid indoor-outdoor. We still kept the AC running, but with the doors open, so that way people can cool off. We have plenty of trees which provide shade. So I think it's a matter of just being sensible from a sports medicine standpoint, or making sure people are not getting overheated. And then having first aid on standby, or letting people know if you're feeling any symptoms of clammy skin, lightheadedness, dizziness, shortness of breath. These are things that you should be aware of. So I think it's just being aware of the scene and being a land-based lifeguard. So,
and you also answered one of the chat box, which I thought was really great. How are you dealing with people monopolizing space, people being inconsiderate? Like I don't believe in this pandemic, and someone, taking their mask down. How do we deal with that situation? Because I'm going to tell you guys at home, it happens. And as soon as you open your facility, hide your toilet paper. That's another thing that they walk away with. But how do you deal with those people monopolizing the space, Paul?
I don't think we had people monopolizing or hogging their personal space. We had people just more adamant about, okay, I'm going to stay outside the whole time because I have my father-in-law who lives with us and I can't get close to everyone else. So they are putting themselves in somewhat of an environment of risk by attending the workout, which is why we had the health declarations, which we discussed at the last webinar. But then we've had to accommodate for them. So if we have circuits that are inside, we've had to bring the same set of equipment for that circuit inside for them to accommodate them outdoors. The issue is when they come 3 minutes late for class beginning, and now we have to rush those things outside. So it's a matter of just, holding your tongue and just being, putting the smile on and giving that 5-star Blue Apron customer service and just accommodating them, because for the long term, it's better that you just suit their needs. So we haven't had space hoggers, just more space needy people for wanting to stay outside and still staying safe.
It's a very good. Ann, please share.
I just want to add something that I think it's really, really important that you guys start communicating as much as possible. If you haven't been communicating with your member base from day one, teach them that they have expectations too. We have expectations of them. So teach them what to expect on day one. Tell them the rules. Make sure you're overly communicating with them. We actually opened up something that we called couch conferences on every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. And we invited every single member on Zoom calls. Sometimes one day we had as many as 85 people, and we talked to them about the protocols. We made them understand that they need to social distance and they need to be respectful of their other shaped sister. So I think the more you communicate ahead of your opening date, the less you'll have that person that's being disrespectful. They will respect each other. Hyper communicate. Start now. Use Zoom. And remember, for those that said they had senior citizens, what are boomers now, guys? Zoomers, right? So teach them ahead of time and hyper communicate what the expectations are. And there seems to be a lot of respect. I agree with Paul. We haven't had that problem.
And there was something, I'm not sure if it was you, Ann, or Paul, used the term ambassador. So there's someone at the front desk. So there's someone walking around, and they're basically the aerobic police, and they're managing things. And it really might be a customer service manager. I actually think I saw Marissa Hoff, who's one of our Livestream Mania presenters, on the chat box earlier. She also, there she is with a smiley face. Wonderful presenter. She works with Chris Stevenson, does a lot of consulting, and they talked about making sure that you have that customer service ambassador, because you're going to have people that are difficult and that have different standards of care, and you're going to have to accommodate them gracefully. We did get another question about how do we handle, like, do you require people to do well checks when they walk in? And by well checks, I mean, there's 5 questions. I'll show this all to you. We're getting to the 5:41. We got 4 or 5 minutes just left of the webinar. But there's 5 questions that you ask of people when they come in. Paul does it in a written form, which I really, really like. And Ann, how are you handling your well checks? Are people well enough to come in?
We're just taking extra time when they do their self-scan in to make sure that we're having the communication needed. And if there's any concerns, we note it in their reports or on their database. But we're just asking questions. We want opportunities to engage with conversation as much as possible, because we feel it's a key to bringing the people back. But go through those questions, Sarah.
And Paul, how is the questionnaire? I really liked what you created. We chatted about it after the webinar last time. But how are you administering it, collecting it? You've got a pen. Are they doing it physically? How are you administering it?
Everyone was receptive. The first couple of days we had a table outside, and we did strictly outside workouts. So no one was actually able to come into the gym immediately. We just started the first couple of sessions strictly outside. We had a table with our table skirt logo on there, and we had the declaration forms, and we had tons of pens, and we had wipes there, and people filled them out, and there really was no issue or questioning why we were doing that. They understand the protocol of being safe. And to give everyone a little bit of background, one of my clients is the president of the prestigious Boca Raton Resort. So as they are now owned by the Michael Dell Corporation, they are massively, massively involved in risk aversion. So I get the secondhand information as to what they are requesting from a corporate level as to what the proper protocol should be in their massive resort. So with that, I'm able to spawn ideas and take a little bit of that and just make it into a small business, small gym idea. So we just watered it down to what we did, and we've had a really good time. Coincidentally, we offer fitness services for the resort on the outdoor lawn for their membership. So they have hotel guests, and then they have their prestigious membership. So right now there's no hotel rentals, but their membership is now looking to get back playing golf, playing tennis, yada, yada, yada. So for us to teach, there's a protocol for us to be on campus, such as the temperature check and wearing masks and getting cleared by the security guard before we can go proctor our on-campus classes. So they have their own, version from a corporate standpoint, and we just took ours and downsized it to a small business.
Okay, wonderful. That's very exciting. I'm going to show you guys one thing. I'm actually going to be doing a webinar tomorrow. So I'm going to show you just a little bit. If you go to the same place that you registered for this webinar, it's scwfit.com/online. So, or it can be /store, or it actually can be just /online. And this will show you how to register for Livestream Mania. We have another Livestream Mania that is coming up, exciting, on July 24th through 26th. Unfortunately, we had to cancel Atlanta Mania, and sadly, I think we're going to cancel Dallas Mania. So we're going to get you virtual. We had 1,125 people join us last weekend. Here's our certification information, our online information. Here's our video CEC bundles, individual CEC courses, on-demand programs. We have digital videos, home fitness equipment, 50% off. Everything has got a discount. Here's upcoming webinars. I'll show that to you in 1 second. But I'm doing a webinar tomorrow for Gold's Gym, and here is the PowerPoint. So if you like those photos of Paul's gym and Ann's gym, which frankly I really find that very useful, please feel free to download the PowerPoint, and that'll have a lot of information, and then it'll also have all those photos that you want to look at. Don't forget that on Thursday, we are doing an upcoming webinar on leading our fitness communities. And the pandemic message has always been, we are in this together, but it is scary what's going out there with what happened with George Floyd, and also the violent response with all the rioting. And we're having some of our wonderful Livestream Mania presenters join us in person on Thursday, this Thursday, June 4th, and it's the same bat time, the same bat channel. So I really do hope that you guys spread the word on this, because we are a health and wellness oriented community, and we can do something to help repair and change our world. We change bodies, we change minds, and we will change the world. So I'm going to ask for a quick closing remark from Paul and then from Ann, and we will call it a day. So please, Paul.
Oh, I lean to my colleague. Ladies first, please. Ms. Ann.
No, really?
Yes.
I hope I haven't blinded you with the sun that's been coming in my room as we have continued. I'm moving back because I'm literally getting sunburned from all the sun. So welcome to Florida, guys. It's beautiful out here today. You know, I want to just repeat what I said earlier. And on day one, when we closed, I actually wrote a full testimonial of what my experience has been emotionally and professionally since we closed on March 20th to today. And I hope to share that with you in the future. But when we closed, I thought it was done. I thought I was a victim. I don't ever think of myself as a victim, but that day I felt like a victim. And I closed the club up and was adamant about leaving, and I forgot that someone was still in my sauna. Believe it or not, she always was in my sauna on Friday afternoon. And here I totally forgotten about her. She came out and she literally fell to her feet. She goes, "I don't want to leave Shapes. I don't want to leave the club." And I think she did in her own way a little prayer. And I thought, this is not my opportunity to see myself as a victim, but instead as an opportunist. And I've used that again and again. Please, you guys, this is your opportunity to move from what might have been mediocre. And agree, you might have programs out that are mediocre to greatness. This is your opportunity to instill the need for education and come out of this shining with new opportunities to make revenue and to offer programs to your existing members and to attract new. The new programs you're going to come out of this with will be funnels for new revenue-based members for you. So good luck to you guys. No victim, opportunists, please.
And Paul?
Yes, once again, I'm grateful for the opportunity to reach out virtually with so many amazing colleagues. You can contact me on Instagram at PCology. You can find us at Gravity and Oxygen Fitness. My email address is pc@gravityandoxygen.com. That's my contact information. But on a higher level, what Ann said, it's flight or fright. You can shrivel and fall by the wayside, or we can use this as an opportunity to seek that through the difficulty. And 2020 has been an incredibly challenging year for all of us, including up to what's going on this week. And I sympathize with everybody out there. And once again, flight or fright, challenge yourself, because that which does not kill you will only make you stronger. One of my mottos in life is, man cannot endure without suffering, for he is both the marble and the sculptor. So I am personally finding out a lot about myself. This happened 2 months after I just re-signed another 5-year lease. It happened 2 months after buying out my business partner. And it happened 1 week after having hernia surgery. So you can shrivel and fade, or you can use this as a reason to really find your own true grit, and your resolve. So I sympathize with all of you. If there's anything we can continue to help you, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself, Ann, or Sarah. And you'll hear from me for the first time ever at Mania come July. And I'm excited to bring the fire and bring my shred of fitness. So thank you again, Sarah, for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Paul. Thank you so much, Ann. You guys, I leave these webinars, and I don't know about all you that are listening, but I just feel better. I feel like I'm not alone. I thank you both for sharing your wisdom and sharing your learnings, sharing the things that will help us who haven't reopened yet, how to make it better. I also want to thank Sean Senejan, who ran the webinar for us today. I thank all of you for coming. Don't forget to show up on Thursday. We'll see you later. Take care. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye, guys.